Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. When we talk about American coins, there's one that stands out for both its historical significance and humble presence, the Lincoln 1-cent penny. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it has since become one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in the world. But not all Lincoln pennies are created equal. Some hide remarkable stories, minting mysteries, and extraordinary value beneath their copper surfaces. Among these, the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny holds a unique place in the hearts of collectors and numismatists. Though millions were minted that year, a rare combination of errors, preservation, and rarity has made select examples unbelievably valuable, so much so that one such coin shocked the coin collecting world with a price tag few could imagine. To truly understand the value of the 1967 Lincoln penny, we must first explore the context of its creation. The late 1960s was a turbulent yet transformative time in American history. With the nation deep in the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement gaining momentum, and the space race intensifying, the United States Mint continued to produce billions of coins to fuel the country's economy. In 1967 alone, over 3 billion pennies were struck across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. But here's the twist: in that year, to prevent coin hoarding and the manipulation of coin supplies, the mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks. This decision makes it nearly impossible to tell where a coin was minted, adding a layer of mystery and challenge for collectors seeking exceptional pieces. Most 1967 pennies are coppery workhorses, scratched, worn, and exchanged endlessly for decades. But then, there are the rare ones. These are the coins that somehow avoided the wear and tear of circulation. They were never jostled in pockets or rubbed raw in coin jars. Some were tucked away in rolls, bank vaults, or private collections, retaining their original luster, flawless detail, and crisp strike. These mint-state examples, especially in grades MS-67 and above, are already incredibly rare. Add to that the presence of a rare minting error, such as a double die obverse, off-center strike, or even a die break, and you have a coin that is not just rare, but nearly one-of-a-kind. Collectors and grading professionals know that when such a coin surfaces, the value can skyrocket. Errors from 1967 are especially intriguing because the lack of mint marks and the rush to produce large quantities of coins led to more chances for overlooked flaws during the minting process. Coins struck on the wrong planchets, coins with doubled features, such as a blurry or shadowed appearance in the date, Lincoln's eye, or the motto, "In God We Trust," can all be considered major errors, and those command intense interest at auction houses. Let's not forget the allure of copper itself. Before 1982, pennies were made primarily of 95% copper. In today's world, where metals are increasingly valued and coin compositions have changed, the older all-copper coins already have a base-level collectible appeal. Combine that with scarcity, quality, and history, and you get a penny that's more than just pocket change. It's a treasure. Now imagine this: a pristine 1967 Lincoln penny, preserved perfectly for more than 5 decades, with flawless red coloration, sharp design details, and possibly a unique error, submitted to a top-tier grading service and given one of the highest mint state grades possible. The buzz among collectors spreads quickly. Experts and hobbyists alike recognize the extraordinary nature of this piece. The coin is put up for auction, and the room holds its breath. Bidding begins conservatively, but as the rarity and condition of the coin become evident, the competition heats up. Phones ring, online bids pour in, and the price climbs. After rounds of intense bidding and expert validation, the final gavel falls, and the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny is sold for an astonishing amount. A coin that once could buy a piece of candy or a turn on a payphone has now become a historical artifact, a collector's dream, and a testament to the unpredictable magic of minting. The final price of this extraordinary 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny was $180,000. Top 2. In the vast world of coin collecting, there are certain pieces that seem almost ordinary on the surface, coins that many of us have seen, spent, or perhaps passed over without a second thought. But every now and then, among the billions of coins struck by the United States Mint, one emerges with such rarity, uniqueness, and historical value that it sends ripples through the numismatic community. One such remarkable example is the 1968 Lincoln 1-cent penny. To the untrained eye, it may appear like any other copper coin, carrying the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on its obverse and the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial on its reverse. Yet behind its copper surface lies a tale of errors, scarcity, and preservation so powerful that it has earned a place in the spotlight, and in the vaults of elite collectors. The year 1968 was a period of change and rebuilding for America. Just a few years earlier, in 1964, the coinage system had undergone major shifts with the removal of silver from dimes and quarters. By 1965, mint marks were temporarily removed in a bold move by the U.S. Mint to discourage hoarding. By 1968, mint marks were reintroduced, and the San Francisco Mint resumed proof coin production, adding complexity to that year's coinage. This transition period is crucial for collectors because it created room for inconsistencies, overlooked errors, and a limited number of exceptionally well-struck coins, all of which are highly prized today. What makes a 1968 penny so special? To start with, most Lincoln cents from this era were heavily circulated. They were pocket change, spent at gas stations, vending machines, diners, and bus stops. Billions were minted across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Yet, within this ocean of copper cents, a few rare gems managed to survive in pristine condition. These are coins that never made it into circulation. Instead, they were saved in original rolls, protected in collector albums, or preserved unintentionally in forgotten drawers. Over the decades, environmental conditions destroyed most examples, but a few remained untouched, untarnished, unblemished, and gleaming with their original mint luster. For collectors, condition is everything. A 1968 penny in average circulated condition is worth only its face value. But a coin in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading companies, is an entirely different story. When a coin from this year is found with a strong strike, bold details, and no signs of handling or wear, it is quickly recognized as a premium specimen. And if that coin also displays a rare minting error, such as a double die, off-center strike, clipped planchet, or an unusual die break, it transforms from a collectible into a national treasure. Doubling errors, especially on Lincoln's face or the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," are of particular interest. These visual distortions occur during the minting process when the die strikes the coin more than once, slightly misaligned. The result is a blurry, ghost-like image that is often mesmerizing to observe under magnification. These coins are exceedingly rare because the U.S. Mint worked diligently to catch and eliminate errors. However, in the fast-paced environment of 1960s minting, some slipped through, and now they're worth a fortune, but rarity and error alone do not guarantee astronomical value. The coin's provenance, the buzz it generates in the numismatic world, and the timing of its auction can all elevate its price significantly. Coin auctions, both live and online, often feature fierce bidding wars for exceptional coins. And when a 1968 penny in flawless condition, bearing a visible and authenticated error, is placed on that auction block, the stage is set for history to be made. Bidders from around the world, private collectors, institutions, and passionate hobbyists, compete for a chance to own not just a coin, but a piece of American legacy. Such was the case with one particular 1968 Lincoln penny, a coin that stunned the collecting world with its perfection. Carefully preserved, it displayed vibrant red copper coloration, deep mirror-like fields, and microscopic details untouched by time. Certified by one of the top grading authorities and attributed with a rare double die obverse error, this penny became the centerpiece of a heated bidding session. As interest swelled and offers climbed, the final sale price reached a jaw-dropping figure. That single 1968 Lincoln 1-cent penny, once worth just 1 cent in everyday life, ultimately sold for an astounding $165,000. Top 3. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history, mystery, and untold value. Among these copper treasures lies a coin that many of us have likely seen, handled, or spent without a second thought, the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny. A humble coin on the surface, yes, but beneath that simple copper shell lies a story that is both fascinating and, for some collectors, nearly unbelievable. The 1974 penny is not just another piece of loose change, it is a coin that has stirred curiosity for decades, drawing attention from seasoned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. And in rare cases, one of these small coins has fetched a staggering sum at auction, turning a common object into a priceless artifact. To understand what makes the 1974 penny so captivating, we need to take a step back and look at the era in which it was born. The early 1970s were a time of economic challenge in the United States. Inflation was rising, and the cost of producing coins, especially those made of copper, was increasing rapidly. The U.S. Mint, always looking for more cost-effective solutions, began experimenting with alternative metals. One of the most famous stories from this time involves the experimental 1974 aluminum penny, produced in limited quantities and never officially released into circulation. Although most of those aluminum test coins were destroyed, a few escaped the mint's control, and their existence became a legend in coin collecting circles. But while the aluminum version gets most of the headlines, even the standard 1974 copper pennies have secrets of their own. That year, the mint struck billions of 1-cent coins, mainly in copper-coated zinc planchets as the nation prepared for potential changes in coinage material. With such high production numbers across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, it might seem like number 1974 penny could possibly be worth more than a few cents. However, coin collecting is full of surprises. In the case of the 1974 penny, it's not just about what the coin is, it's about how it was made, how it survived, and whether it bears any of the unique characteristics that drive collectors wild. One of the main attractions for collectors when it comes to 1974 pennies is the presence of errors. A double die obverse, for instance, can significantly increase a coin's value. This type of error occurs when the coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, resulting in a noticeable doubling of letters or numbers, especially in the inscriptions, "Liberty," or, "In God We Trust." Other rarities include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks, each offering a visual and historical anomaly that turns a regular penny into a one-of-a-kind piece. These errors are unintentional, but once authenticated and verified, they become some of the most sought-after pieces in the hobby. Another major factor is the condition of the coin. The vast majority of 1974 pennies show signs of heavy wear, having passed through thousands of hands over the decades. They are often scratched, discolored, or worn smooth. But the few coins that were carefully stored away, preserved in near-perfect condition since the day they were minted, tell a different story. A coin graded mint state 67 or higher is an extraordinary find. The luster remains bright, the design features are crisp and defined, and there's not a blemish to be seen under magnification. Such pristine examples are rare and always in demand. Then there's provenance, the coin's history, its previous owners, and the documentation that accompanies it. When a coin has an intriguing backstory or has been featured in major auctions or exhibitions, its desirability skyrockets. Combine that with a flawless grade, an interesting mint error, and the growing popularity of penny collecting, and you have all the ingredients for a record-breaking sale. Such was the case with one particularly remarkable 1974 Lincoln penny. Unlike the millions of others, this coin had it all: a sharply struck surface with a strong reddish luster, a verified double die obverse error, and a condition so perfect that even the most meticulous grader awarded it a top-tier grade. Collectors took notice, and when this coin finally went up for auction, the excitement was palpable. Bidders from around the globe vied for the chance to own what was essentially a one-of-a-kind relic of numismatic history. The price rose quickly, surpassing expectations, and ultimately settling at an amount that left many in awe. This one small coin, weighing just a few grams and barely larger than a fingertip, commanded an astonishing price of $135,000. A true testament to the idea that in the world of coins, even the tiniest pieces can carry a value far beyond their face, and a story that continues to captivate collectors and dreamers everywhere. Top 4. Every coin has a story, but some tell tales far richer and more mysterious than their humble appearance suggests. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1977 is one such coin. At first glance, it might seem like just another old penny, easy to overlook in a jar of spare change or among dusty drawers of forgotten currency. But in the world of coin collecting, especially to seasoned numismatists and sharp-eyed hobbyists, the 1977 Lincoln penny holds a quiet power. This unassuming copper piece is a living artifact of American history, one that can command astonishing value if the right details align. The Lincoln cent, first minted in 1909, has become one of the most iconic and collected coins in American numismatic history. Its design has endured through world wars, economic upheavals, and technological revolutions. By 1977, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for nearly 70 years, and yet the demand for variations, rare errors, and high-grade examples continued to grow. That year, the U.S. Mint produced these pennies in massive quantities, primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, meaning most people assume they're common and not worth much beyond their face value. But not all 1977 pennies are created equal. While billions of 1977 pennies were minted, a small number stand apart due to their rarity, condition, or production anomalies. These are the coins that ignite the passion of collectors, driving prices far beyond anything one would expect from a copper coin. What makes a single 1977 penny worth thousands? It comes down to several important factors: condition, minting errors, and historical context. Start with the condition. A coin's grade is assessed on a 70-point scale, and anything graded MS 65 or higher is considered mint state. A coin from 1977 that has been perfectly preserved, with its original red luster, no wear, and razor-sharp detail, is extremely rare. Most of the coins from that era have been circulated extensively, gathering nicks, discoloration, and surface wear. But if a 1977 penny was never spent, perhaps sealed in a collector's album or found in a freshly opened mint roll, and maintained in impeccable condition for nearly half a century, its rarity, and value, climb sharply. Then there are mint errors. Mistakes made during the minting process are the hidden gems of the coin world. These could include double die obverse errors, where letters or numbers appear double due to a misaligned strike, off-center strikes that create a visibly misshapen coin, or even die breaks, where part of the coin appears cracked or missing due to a flaw in the minting equipment. These errors are uncommon by nature, but when they appear on a coin from a widely collected series like the Lincoln cent, they can transform an everyday coin into a remarkable discovery. There's also the story behind the year 1977. It was a transitional time in American politics and culture. A new president had just taken office, the country was recovering from the post-Vietnam War era, and inflation was a growing concern. Though subtle, these economic pressures affected decisions at the U.S. Mint, including how and when coins were produced. This adds an extra layer of historical intrigue to any surviving coins from that period, especially those in exceptional condition. One particular 1977 penny stunned the collecting world when it appeared at a prestigious coin auction. This wasn't an ordinary coin, it had been meticulously preserved in nearly flawless condition, exhibiting full original red color, strong strike details, and, to the trained eye, a highly collectible double die obverse. Expert graders confirmed its exceptional quality, awarding it a top-tier grade that few coins of this type and era ever achieve. With such a powerful combination of rarity, condition, and collector interest, the coin sparked a bidding war. As the auctioneer's gavel finally came down, the value of this 1977 Lincoln penny reached a jaw-dropping amount. That single 1-cent piece sold for an astonishing $115,000. It's an incredible reminder that history can hide in the most unexpected places, and sometimes, the smallest coin can carry the biggest story. Top 5. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1982 may appear, at first glance, to be just another small copper coin in your pocket change, but don't be fooled by its modest appearance. This particular year of the Lincoln cent tells one of the most complex and fascinating stories in modern numismatics. It was a year of significant transformation for the U.S. Mint, a pivotal turning point in how the nation's smallest coin was made, and because of that, 1982 has become one of the most closely examined and hotly collected dates in the entire Lincoln Cent series. A coin that was supposed to be ordinary, produced by the billions, turned out to be a treasure chest of variations, rarities, and valuable surprises. And among those, one 1982 penny stood out from the rest, ultimately being valued at a staggering amount that will leave you speechless. What makes 1982 such an unusual year for the Lincoln Cent is the massive change that occurred behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint. Up until that year, Lincoln Cents were primarily struck in 95% copper. However, rising metal costs made it impractical to continue using copper, and so the Mint transitioned to a new composition, a core of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper, drastically reducing production costs. But this switch didn't happen all at once. Instead, both copper and zinc pennies were struck during the same year, something that had never occurred before in such a transitional way. To make matters more complicated, there were 7 different varieties of the 1982 penny. These include large date and small date designs, minted in both copper and zinc, from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That's 7 possibilities for just 1 year of pennies. And among these, some are common, others are scarce, and a few are shockingly rare. One of the most exciting aspects of 1982 pennies is how difficult it is to visually distinguish the copper versions from the zinc ones. The difference in weight: copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc versions weigh around 2.5 grams, means collectors often need a precise scale to determine what they have. And here's where things get especially thrilling: mistakes happen. Transitional errors, where a penny was accidentally struck using the wrong metal composition, are possible. Such errors are incredibly rare and immensely valuable. That's because they represent a glitch in the process during one of the most complex minting changes in U.S. coinage history. The thrill of finding one of these rare transitional errors keeps collectors hunting and searching through rolls of pennies to this day. Now imagine discovering a 1982 Lincoln penny that not only survived in mint state condition but also possessed one of these rare transitional errors. A coin like that, an original copper planchet accidentally used for a zinc design die, or vice versa, would instantly become a numismatic marvel. Collectors dream of such finds because they represent the perfect storm, a major mint error during a critical year of change, preserved against all odds in pristine condition. Such coins are so scarce that only a handful may exist, and even fewer are known to the public. It was exactly such a coin that made headlines in the coin collecting world. A 1982 penny, struck on the wrong planchet, preserved in flawless condition, and verified by professional grading services to be a legitimate mint error from that chaotic transition period. The coin had everything collectors crave: rarity, a story, and a direct link to one of the most fascinating chapters in minting history. At auction, serious collectors didn't hesitate to bid fiercely for the chance to own this anomaly. As the tension in the room grew, bids soared, and the once humble penny began to take on a whole new value, one defined not by its face, but by its history, condition, and mistake. When the final bid was placed and the gavel struck, the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny was officially sold for a remarkable total of $95,000. A single cent that most people would ignore without a second thought had proven itself to be a legendary piece of American coinage, an irreplaceable relic that reminded everyone just how powerful a penny can truly be. So, before you pass over that next coin in your change jar, remember this story. That tiny coin could be history in your hand.